How is it going, everybody? Too Spooky here. In this video today, we are going to be talking about Geass powers. More specifically, which Geass power I think is the strongest, or overall which Geass power is the best. As a forewarning, we are only going to be talking about the Geass from Lelouch of the Rebellion Part 1 and 2, so anything from the side stories or manga or movies will not be talked about in this video. Anyway, before we talk about which one I think is best, let's quickly recap what each of the Geass powers do. Lelouch's Geass allows him to command anything, and I mean anything to a person so long as he can make direct eye contact with them. The individual who was given the command must then fulfill it no matter the cost. It should also be noted that this ability will not wear off until the command is completed, and Lelouch can only command a single individual once. Mao's Geass allows him to hear the thoughts of anyone within a 500-meter radius telepathically. He can also hone in on a specific person's thoughts, in turn drowning out the rest. This also allows him to effectively read memories as well. The only downfall of honing in on someone like this is that it decreases his range, and hearing so many people at once can also be a little bit stressful on your mental state. Charles's Geass allows him to alter an individual's memories to his content. And as far as we know, he's able to do this as much as he wants, meaning that this Geass power really has no downfalls. In addition to that, this Geass is also able to seal the power of other Geass and is even capable of making an individual lose one of their senses, such as sight. While the specifics on how this is possible are not known, it's also possible to somehow break out of this power's influence and regain the lost memories. Marianne's Geass allows her to transfer both her body and Geass into a separate individual's body, although this power could only be used when she is dying. This effectively allows her to cheat death and possibly even live forever, if she can continue to body swap to different bodies upon death. Her consciousness then lived within the new body and could either remain dormant or surface and take control of the individual she transferred her spirit into. C2's Geass allowed her to make anyone she used it on fall in love with her, in turn making them very close, affectionate, and kind towards her. Rollo's Geass allows him to essentially stop time. This is done by basically paralyzing everyone within a certain radius, in turn also stopping inanimate objects and even momentum. The only catch is that Rollo is only able to activate it by temporarily stopping his heart, so it could only be used for a short time or Rollo would die. It was also very difficult for him to use it at a wide range or to stop a large amount of people, or use it in quick succession. And finally, Waldstein's Geass allows him to see a few seconds into the future, and that's pretty much all it does. Now, before I tell you guys which one I think is best, I wanted to do something a little different and get some other YouTubers involved in this topic. So without further ado, now that we've had that recap, a couple other YouTubers are going to explain which Geass they think is best and why. Let's go see if our opinion matches up with theirs.
Hey there guys and gals, AnimeDude here, and my boy Too Spooky wanted me to explain to you all which Geass from Code Geass is the most powerful. Now Code Geass is my all-time favorite show, and so I have sworn to answer this question with complete seriousness, without showing any favoritism to my all-time favorite waifu, C2. However, I think it goes without saying that C2 doesn't need any favoritism, and let me show you why.
Love and peace! Love and peace!
C2's power was an emotionally tragic one as it came from her desire to be loved by others, yet only left her unsatisfied and bored with the tranced society around her. However, with pure regard to the power itself rather than the emotional backlash it entailed, she could make anyone around her love her. What could be more powerful than controlling the emotions of those around you and having no enemies as a result? With no doubt in my mind, I, the anime dude, hereby cast my vote towards C2's power of love, cause in the end, that's all you really need.
I've always thought that Lelouch's Geass was the best and perhaps the strongest. The ability to command anyone to do anything is a scary thought. It has the appearance of being limitless, with the exception that it can only be used once on a person. However, if you're smart, like Lelouch, you can absolutely get around this downside. While he is arguably one of the most intellectual characters in anime, without his Geass, Lelouch would not have been able to succeed in his ultimate rise to power, which I think shows just how powerful of an ability it is. It seems like the most practical of the Geass powers, but being able to manipulate enemies, friends, family, and even himself benefited Lelouch until the very end. Compared to the other Geasses, it just seems like it's the least flawed. Mal's drove him absolutely insane, and Rolo's ended up killing him due to overuse. While Marianne's ability to transfer her spirit into a new body after death seems useful, I just believe that semi-immortality effect would grow weary on a person, living through these different bodies for centuries. You can even see that weariness with CC's Code of Immortality curse. Her original Geass ability to make people love her caused her to become bored with life with her inability to control it correctly. So in terms of power, I think only Charles rivals Lelouch. Charles was able to temporarily stop him, as we saw at the beginning of season 2 with his sealing and memory altering Geass. But of course, Lelouch overcame his father towards the end of the series, so it all kind of worked out. But to conclude, of all the Geass powers, I stick to my guns and say that Lelouch's is the best, as it's also an ability I'd kill to have.
Hi everyone, Flying Panda. Who has the best devil fruit? Devil fruit? I mean Geass in the series. Is it Lelouch? He's the main character, but doesn't mean he has the best Geass. Of course it rocks. It pretty much multiple Geasses in one, because he could command someone to not remember, fall in love with him, or to reveal their true thoughts. So theoretically, he has the best Geass. CC, Charles and Miles wrapped up into one, therefore the most powerful, but that's one major flaw. He can use his ability one time per person. So for me, the most strongest in the series is Charles. Charles' Geass is the strongest because if you think about it, it can do anything Lelouch can do, but more permanently. This makes me think that Charles' Geass can be used in almost the same way as Lelouch's if it alters the person's memory correctly. Charles' Geass can rewrite memories, but so can Lelouch's. Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking a lot of people are going to have the same opinion as me because, at least to me, it seems like this is the obvious right answer. But, you know, I'm thinking Lelouch has to have the best Geass because it's like insane. I mean, the only real downside to it is that he has to make eye contact with someone, which kind of does suck, but he's always gotten around that anyway. And if he does, I mean, it is without a doubt the best, right? Like, at least as far as we can tell, there is no limit to how long this Geass lasts. I'm pretty sure it is forever based on what we've seen. And he can get somebody to do anything. Like, he had his brother just serve Zero for the rest of his life. So pretty much, if he just always commands someone to follow his orders forever, then that's it, right? Like, that's the most overpowered thing ever. And what really can beat that?
So for me, this would be an open and shut case. I would literally have to go with Lelouch's Geass, given the fact that I could literally tell anyone to do anything and they would just literally have to do it. Do my homework for me. Do my chores for me. Pay me to do nothing. Literally anything, and they would just honestly just have to abide by it, and that's just so great. But ultimately, I'd have to say that the best thing about Lelouch's Geass is the fact that I could literally do something like, say, subscribe to my channel.
What is up, fellas? Rummer29 here, and I believe C2's Geass is the strongest. First, unlike any other quote-unquote manipulative abilities in the series, it does not have a drawback, such as Lelouch's and Charles's, where they have to make direct eye contact with their target, and because of that, she can reach a much wider range of her ability than Lelouch or Charles can. Or even Rolo, who has a very, very OP ability, but in consequence, it hurts his own heart when he uses it, which is a huge drawback. But C2's ability, which is to make anyone fall in love with her, does not have that. Also, her ability is very similar to Miles in the sense that both have no control over it, but unlike Mal, she can actually keep it in and she doesn't go mentally insane because of it, which is a huge plus. And last but not least, love is a very broad term, So she can use her ability for combat, she can use it for infiltration, she can use it to manipulate others on her side or the enemy side, either way. So it's a pretty useful ability, and yes, that's my opinion.
So Lord Spooks asks me, what is the greatest Geass power? And he says best and strongest, and I'm going to be talking about best, since strongest is very situation dependent. So if you include the downsides of many of the Geasses, like Marianne's, where she would have to be dying at the same time as looking at a person, which is not how most people die, and the downside of Rollo's Geass eventually killing him, which, as we know, sucks, I'ma have to say that Lelouch's Geass is the best. While a lot of controlling people can also be done through CC's Geass, I feel like it would destroy someone's personal quality of life, making all of their actions borderline useless as far as how they're seen by other people. So being that Lelouch's Geass is turn-offable, which is a massive plus, and even as far as R2, where he couldn't really turn it off, but still it would have to be during direct eye contact, it's definitely a great pinch hitter and can get you out of many sticky situations, including, well, overthrow the Britannian government and take over the world. So I'm gonna have to go with Lelouch's Geass, as it's a not overdone ultimate power that can be used anytime you need it most. Thanks for having me, Spooks.
Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Zypher, and I want to first of all thank Too Spooky for having me on as a guest on his channel. But without further ado, let's get into who has the strongest Geass ability. So for me, I personally believe the person who has the strongest ability is CC or C2, whatever you want to call her. And the reason why I say that is because she has the ability to, just for a quick reminder, is the power of to have anyone fall in love with her. And with that, you could do a lot of things. To give you an example of how far you could take this ability, imagine if you even started off as a slave. From a slave, you come across a citizen. You have a citizen fall in love with you, now you have a stronger connection with them. As a citizen, you walk by a soldier, you have a stronger connection with them. Soldier, you become a gatesman. From a gatesman, you come across a noble. Across a noble, a king or queen, and from a king and queen, you have a king and queen fall in love with you. You could rise to power all the way to the very top with continuously using that ability to have people fall in love with you. And when you have that power of love, when you're standing at the top, you could basically accomplish a lot of your goals, whether it be good or evil. You're able to now do whatever you want because you're standing at the top of society. So that's pretty much it. It was a very short, sweet answer. I think C2 has the strongest ability. Thank you so much for Too Spooky for having me on, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Alright, so I always like to relate anime power levels to tacos and how I can get a taco the fastest. Because usually, that's the one that can win in a fight the most often. So first of all, here we have shishis, or however you pronounce it. With making someone fall in love with you. This could be useful, right? You get your loved one to go pick you up a taco from Taco Bell, but your loved one might be thinking a little bit further than that. They might go, you're fat enough already. You don't need another taco. So maybe you aren't going to get what you want there. Bad decision. Now Lelouch, making people follow one command. The problem is only one command. What if the next day you want another taco? Too bad, so sad. You don't get another one. But Charles, you can alter someone's memories any way you want. You can convince them that tacos are the most healthy food in the world. You can convince them that they never got you a taco the other day or even the same day. It doesn't matter. No matter the situation, Charles is the best because he can get you a taco.
What is up, everybody? I am Briggs from the YouTube channel All Day Anime, and without a doubt in my mind, I'm going to be voting for Charles Z. Britannia. And the reason for this is he has the ability, or his Geass power, allows him to alter people's memories. And the potential with this Geass is honestly limitless. For example, at first I was thinking C2, because making someone fall in love with you is ridiculously overpowered. However, with Charles, I think you could do that and more. For example, you could alter someone's memories to think that they're your wife or husband, implant memories that they love you, or you could give them extreme mental health issues, like extreme depression, think that everything in their life is going horribly and make them want to kill themselves. Or if you're fighting someone, you can make them think that you're on their side. Imagine trying to break into a place and they're like, stop, you're not allowed in, you'd have to have a fight. Well, you're like, oh no, you could pass, yeah, you work here, it's all good, type of thing. I'm kind of just ranting now, but I feel like the potential is honestly limitless with this power, and if used properly, you could take over the world. But hey, that's just a theory. An anime theory. Thank you, Spooky, for letting me rant a little bit, and back to you. Shinpaku.
Well said, guys, well said. Now that we've heard all those great opinions, I've got to give mine. And let me just say I'm recording this ahead of time, so I actually have no idea if anyone else actually agrees with me on this, but I actually believe the best Geass power out of them all is C2's, the ability to make anyone fall in love with her. The reason I believe this power is the best or the strongest is because of how powerful love really is. Although every person is different, I feel the thing that most people long to acquire is love. It's one of the driving forces that we long for as people. We long to love and be loved. And when you love someone, you're willing to do almost anything for them. People will go to their absolute limits, question their morals, and even commit crimes for someone they love. And that is why I believe this Geass is so powerful. As we saw in C2's flashback, everyone was in love with her due to her Geass. So we already know that this Geass can be used on as many people as she wants. So if you were to use this Geass on, let's say, a whole city worth of people, you'd essentially have a whole city who'd be willing to cater to your every whim. Or if you wanted them to, these people might even kill for you. Therefore, you essentially have a whole army at your disposal who are devoted to you, and will probably fulfill your every command similar to Lelouch's Geass, just because of how much they are devoted to you. And instead of being limited to just one command per person like Lelouch's Geass, you could command them as much as you want, showing us that love is indeed the most powerful thing of all. At least that's my opinion, and it may sound corny to some of you, but I honestly believe that this Geass power is the most powerful for that reason. The only other two that came close in my opinion was Lelouch's Geass and Charles's Geass. But as I said in my argument, C2's Geass could essentially be as useful as Lelouch's, which is why I decided against that one. But Charles's, on the other hand, is a close second in my book due to its lack of weaknesses and potentially what else you could do with it. But at the same time, as powerful as I believe it is, I feel it just doesn't top the power of love. But anyways guys, that is which Geass I believe is the best, and also some other people's opinions on which Geass they think is best. Who did you agree with? Who did you disagree with? And which Geass do you think is best? Make sure to comment all your opinions down below. I need to give a huge thank you to everyone who participated in this discussion. I honestly cannot thank you enough for taking the time and going out of your way to do this. And all of their channel links will be in the description. You guys should definitely go check out each of their channels and show them some love for stopping by. Be sure to drop one of those likes if you enjoyed and subscribe for more videos, along with hitting that notification bell. If you wanted to see some more Code Geass videos in the future, be sure to comment what topics you'd like to see. And on that note, if you can't get enough Code Geass content, well, be sure to click here for 50 facts about the series. Otherwise, feel free to click here for 101 facts about My Hero Academia. Thanks for watching, and big thank you again to our guests. Once again, make sure to check them out. On that note, see you next time, everyone.